Welcome back to just while that break was on, the boys were reminiscing about parties and what have you, and
a bit of material actually. Yeah. Well, so one thing I think we should mention is Jack, you know, they say he failed plasticine and all that sort of thing, but one day I think he might have. We went to a party at Scooter's place after the show when we'd arranged that Scooter come on later on, you see, and he said, you can get in all right. The front door was locked, so we ended up down the sideway of the house. It was Jack anyway. And Jack found a knife, and he was going to, you know how you get in a window with, in the old days in Richmond they used to do it anyway.
Haven't done a lot of breaking and entering.
And Lou and I had found a panel open, and we were in the lounge room actually instructing Jack how to fix this window. And Lou's saying, just a bit to the left, a bit, and he's struggling away. 10 minutes it took him to realise that we were in the house and he was outside. He threw the knife a mile, but it was one of those. You had to be there, I think.
One of the funniest things, I think Bob and the boys will agree with Jack Dye, when we first enlisted Kevin Sheedy to be on the program, and he wore a black and white tie. I think we were in the city square. And of course you knew how much Jack Dyer hated Collingwood. And I said, Jack, fancy a boy from Richmond, Punt Road, wearing a black and white tie. And Jack said, Sheeds, he said, I'm disgusted with you. He said, I won't even watch a black and white movie.
Gentlemen, I think while we've got our three senior members of days gone by that are rejoining us, Case, just come in for a moment, would you? I know you said you didn't want it. Come on.
Take your bio away, Case. Yeah, a bit of finger flicking, yeah.
Here you are.
Yeah, little secret.
Yeah. Grab that.
Well, Casey was finger flicking good.
I'm ready.
Finger flicking good.
I'm ready.
Yeah. Why did you always ask him the questions and not me?
Because I was smarter than you, that's right.
He was closer to the microphone.
Yeah.
You be careful now, Neil. I'll tell a story about Sydney. Now behave
Well,
yourself.
just said it,
Yeah. Or the night we interviewed Carl Dickens.
Could I ask, hey, Case, could I get you to tell the story about Jack Dye when you sent the 3 telegrams over to him? Well, I think you should tell that.
Oh, well, in those days, Jack lived over in Richmond, and he didn't have the telephone on.
Well, he did. It was in a drawer.
It was in a drawer.
Unpaid for.
And he never told anybody he had the telephone. He said, I haven't got the phone on. So he started to say, if you wanted to talk to Jack, what you had to do was to send him a telegram. So Elaine, my secretary, sent a telegram one day, please call me, matter urgent. No response. Sent a second telegram, no response. I said, send an urgent telegram. Still no response. And eventually Elaine said, well, it's only over in Richmond, why don't you go over and see him yourself? So I go over, knock on the door, Jack opens the door, and I see on the shelf in the room telegrams. Unopened. I said, Jack, I've been sending you those. He said, oh. He said, never send me a telegram. He said, I don't open them because they might be bad news.
He was terrific with his car. He used to ring up and ring the police and find out where it was the next day. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yes. Anyway, Bob, what do you think about World of Sport over the years?
Well, it's been a pleasure to be associated with it, Ron. I mean, it hasn't been a job, it's just been a delight to be, when you finish with the football in the actual playing or the coaching, whatever it was, just to be associated with the fellas that have been here, to be associated with the footballers and to be associated with sport has been tremendous, and I think that probably we all owe you, you particularly, a tremendous debt.
Bruce, we were just talking the other day about, I mean, you've surrendered football and that for bowls, and you did that pretty well. But in the days when we had the champion kick and the handball championship, and I mean, you helped us so much devise the rules for those. How do you feel about football now that in those days they used to have to kick a drop kick, a punt kick, a stab kick, and then 2 kicks of their choice to score points? How do you reckon they'd score today?
Well, we hear so much today about the skills of the game. Now, the skills of Australian football are the kicking, the marking, the handball, and your general field play. The only one that's improved is handball, and to me that's ridiculous.
Well, in fairness, Bruce, you'd have to say that the way the boys today kick the ball, I mean, I know it's basically the same kick all the time, but they do it with such style and accuracy that you'd have to say that it's still pretty good.
No, I don't.
Don't you?
No.
Good on you, bro.
I'll tell you why.
I think they kick it too high.
I'll tell you why. There are too many receivers of the kick getting their head knocked off. There's too much negative defence play, and also there are far too many of those so-called kicks going direct into the arms of an opponent who is out by himself. standing out in the open.
So you say that they're not accurate enough?
They're not accurate. They talk about it's a fast game and they're moving with such speed. You'll see them, the ridiculous handball. You'll see a fellow like Graham Fellows can kick 70 yards. He hands ball to Tony Shaw, who can kick 25 yards. And what does Tony do? Kicks it straight to the arms of an opponent.
Would you
That's
bring it
going
all
on
back,
all
Bruce?
day.
Bring it all back.
No, I'm sorry, Rod. It's not
John Newman. John, last night we saw two big ruckmen from the West Coast Eagles wearing big pads on their thighs. The commentators suggested that was for protection in the ruck duels. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think since they put the line across the circle, Ron, certainly one of these rules that Bruce would probably disagree with, saying it's come in. Just on that, I mean, I don't want to disagree with the people who've been in the game far longer than I, but I believe the game is better now than it's ever been. I mean, you've only got to watch a replay of a football game 20 years ago. I mean, the game has progressed in leaps and bounds. It's the rules and the administering of them and the nature of the game that is probably you've got to bring into line, but the skills of the game are unsurpassed. It is by far the most skillful ball game in the world, and that's second to none, bar none.
What about the thigh pad?
Who watches it, Sam?
Well, lots of people.
Well, who watches it? And did anyone have to ever get an advertising people to try and get people to the football?
Right, can we get a casting vote from Bob Skilton about that?
Well, I've got no doubt that the reason people say it's not as good as far as marking and everything is concerned is the greatest improvement in the game has been the skills in tackling and the defensive work. When players are that quick and that good with their tackling and so on, they haven't got time to steady up. The players can still do the drop kick, but they just haven't got time to be able to take that extra couple of steps and do it. If you watch them at training and everything else, they can do the drop kick just as well as the players of years ago, but it's the tackling that's brought about what people are saying is not good.
One more comment from Jim.
Just one little question, Bob. Can you tell me this, why a back pocket player or a rover can take the kick in after a behind is scored? This, to me, is absolutely unforgivable. I turn the television off when I see it. It goes 15 or 20 yards. The full-back, as you say, players like Rod Carter and these fellas can kick 70, 80 yards, and yet the back pocket player and rover picks it up and kicks it 5, 15 yards.
You've got to have
I've
possession
got
from the
no
word
argument with
go.
that one, Jim.
You can't...
No, unless that back pocket player is able to play straight on, there's no advantage.
No,
He just goes
exactly
back.
right. That's the point.
Gentlemen, I'm afraid time is against us. It's a phrase you've come to know all too well over the years, but thank you one and all, from Case and myself and from everyone involved in the program, for your support and your help over the years. And, well, who knows, perhaps one day we might see the World of Sport panel back once again. In the meantime, we'll see you all at the footy.
In heaven. In heaven. We'll be very late.